What is up, my friends? Good morning. Man, it is a beautiful Monday morning here in Arkansas. It's going to be muggy and it's going to be warm all week. I think the groundhog lied to us. Here in Arkansas, common sense gun control. I'm sorry for the buzzing. I gotta fix that later. But yeah, common sense gun control. What I think about when I hear common sense gun control, one man's common sense is not common sense to another man. We have had a horrible tragedy happen here. And it's because these people don't think of life like we do. It's infamy for them. They want to go down in infamy. Here's what we should do. My opinion. Some people want to take away guns. Some people want to put longer waiting periods. Some people want to put totally get rid of assault rifles. AR doesn't mean assault rifle, by the way. Weapons of war and all that crap. This is basically a hunting rifle that's dressed up pretty. I think we should do a little bit of all of it. But we should also, you got to address mental health, because only a crazy person murders another person. This man was psychotic, this young man. He was hearing voices. He was just psychotic, and we missed the ball on this. So what we have to do, we have to make sure that there are laws passed that force the FBI, when they're told about something like this, to go and fucking investigate it, because this should have been caught. As it turns out, all of these should have been caught. There's already laws on the books that aren't being fucking followed. That if these laws were that we have on the books already were followed, there would be none of these mass shootings that's going on. I think first and foremost we need to pass a law that if there is someone who is like that, that they're obscure. They go into obscurity immediately. We don't know their name. We just know this piece of shit. We're not going to have no pictures of them. You're not going to have the news blasting their name and everything all the time. We'll talk about the victims and the heroes that died during the tragedy. Like that young man who blocked his classmates from bullets, just like that coach. I'm telling you, we need to make sure. And there was a group of people saying that if you're not old enough to drink, how can you be old enough to have an assault rifle? Well, it's, you're not supposed to be drinking when you have these rifles. So that would actually be a better person, someone who is that age, to have that, than someone who's of drinking age who's going to go out and get drunk and go shoot. Because they're just basically to make a lot of noise. We got to talk about the way and to whom we prescribe antidepressants to. Things like Xanax and even Prozac. Things that we think are benign react differently to different people. Look at the warnings. If you're taking something for depression that makes you have suicidal thoughts, or thoughts about killing other people or harming other people or harming yourself, how is that a good thing to prescribe to somebody? We need to know if someone is taking these kinds of drugs, and that needs to be factored into whether or not they can own this firearm. You need to have, I hate to say it, but yeah, you need to have an age limit on buying these things. Yeah, sure, you can shoot them at any age, but same thing with driver's license. You need to be licensed before you can own one. You need to look at the way they prescribe drugs and the mental health in this country, because we have a whole lot of people that don't respect life. They think life is a video game. And you have people like this young man who is just insane. Hearing voices and shit. He was super wealthy too, by the way. Did you know that? I don't approve of the way the left has latched on to these kids in this high school. You know, they're wealthy kids, and some of them probably have a better education than most, but they've latched on to them, and they're using them as propaganda tools, in my opinion, which is very wrong. These kids are obviously coached, and they're just spewing liberal talking points. We need to have a serious conversation about it. Serious conversation doesn't involve if you take money from the NRA, you're just not going to get voted. Being said from someone who can't vote. Obviously, they're coached. Our children, they're saying things about our children and to these kids. They're being coached. We need to look at things like maybe like Israel or the Swiss do. You need to spend 2 years in the military. That needs to be part of high school. I have never met an Israeli or a Swiss person, and I know a few Swiss that weren't impressive as fuck. And it's because of military service. We need to get rid of bump stocks. Immediately. Done. President Trump, listen to this. This is what you need to do. Ban bump stocks. Unequivocally. Get rid of them. Magazine capacity needs to be limited. You need to immediately institute some sort of law that if someone purchases a firearm, they have to go through, they have to have a period of where there's a better background check from the FBI. There has to be a background period. There are a waiting period with a background check. There has to be. Maybe those of us who want that license could, just like my license, my carry and conceal, because when I went and got my carry and conceal license, can you see that? Bang! I went and got my carry and conceal license. Now I don't have to, when I buy a firearm, I'm already background checked. That needs to be part of this national carry and conceal law. We need to institute national carry and conceal. If you have a carry and conceal permit, it's on a national database. And there needs to be, if you're going to have one of these ARs, there needs to be some kind of training course that you go through, where in this course you are absolutely profiled. That's where your background check needs to happen. That's where all this needs to happen. You need to have somebody who's there, and there needs to be a minimum of one security guard per 500 children at these schools. And there's an easy way to do that. You have Army guys who are coming home and don't have jobs. They want security jobs. They're MPs. They're doing this or that. Put them to fucking work. Have an exit training course from the military that prepares them to deal with children in school. And that is a great exit job for our vets who would otherwise come home to nothing. There you go. Or just make the National Guard there. Put the National Guard at all these schools. We got to do something. I know that. And it's mental health. It's being from South Central United States. I am in Arkansas. I grew up hunting for food. I grew up relying on guns. When I do believe I was 12 years old, I walked into the Otasco store with $50, and I walked out by myself with a 12 gauge shotgun and a free box of shells from Otasco. There's nothing wrong with the way people buy guns. The worst mass death at a school in the history of our country was 29 people who were blown up at school. I think it was 29. It might have been 1929, but it was in the 20s. So you see, there are a lot of machete deaths because over in those countries that don't have the guns, they have machete deaths and mass knifings, and so we got to do something about it. We got to attack the mental health issue. We got to get at it from all angles. Make it easier for people to get good mental health, and make it known, because here we have income-based mental health here in Arkansas, and I'm sure it's like that anywhere. You can find a clinic. They call it the Counseling Clinic Incorporated here. But if you need somebody to talk to and you ain't got nobody to talk to, that's where you go. If you see somebody who is talking about, I'm going to be a school shooter, report that shit. And if nothing happens, report it again. Stay on their fucking ass. Yes, it's their job to take care of it, the government, the FBI. They need to fucking do it. President Donald Trump, happy President's Day. I thank you for your leadership. I'm pleased and happy with what you've done so far. You need to get a little bit better at not saying dumb things, but I know what you're doing. I understand. I have faith in you. You've done good so far. Pray for each other. Pray for our country. Pray for our president. President Trump, I hope you see this. I hope you listened. I hope everybody shares this. If you agree, if you don't even, I love you, because I don't care if you agree with me or not. You're a human being. You're one of the people that I rely on. I love you and I care about you and I'm praying for you. And I hope you're praying for me, because I need it.
Lil Doggy!